Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer visits with agricultural experts, starting with Terry Holdren, Kansas Farm Bureau CEO, and Ryan Flickner, Senior Director of Public Policy for Kansas Farm Bureau. Next, enjoy our weekly Kansas Soybean update. Then we're back with Kyle and Rich Feltz, President of Kansas Farm Bureau, and then it's our legislative update from KFB. We'll end with Dr. John Anderson, Deputy Chief Economist for the American Farm Bureau Federation. It's all coming up on Farm Factor. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment is brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Let's join Kyle and Terry Holdren as they discuss leadership development.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with Terry Holdren. He's CEO of Kansas Farm Bureau. Terry, one of the unsung services that Kansas Farm Bureau does for Kansas agriculture is leadership development. That really doesn't just happen.
No, you're right. It's one of the missions that we have in educating and equipping a next generation of farmers and ranchers to lead. Over the years, we've seen folks move through our Young Farmers Program into our other leadership or service commodity advisory committees. This is another one that we use to develop leaders and on to things, even outside of Farm Bureau. And we typically in those programs always say, we don't expect you to always serve only Farm Bureau. We want you to go home and become a school board member or become a city council, county commission member, because those are important positions in those communities. Or even, if you're interested in and have the desire to step up and serve in the state legislature, we've seen lots of folks become policymakers at those levels over the years. So it's a great opportunity for us as an organization to build the next generation of Kansas leadership, and especially in rural communities, those folks who will step up and lead those populations of people.
Well, it's amazing to me, though, to watch the nurturing of it. It doesn't look like a step-by-step leadership development program, but it certainly ends up being that way, and it's really a nurturing.
It is, and we try to take lots of different approaches to kind of meet people where their interests are and where their abilities and time availability exists. We have several programs that are stretch over the course of a year, so you can engage in a year-long leadership training program. We just launched a year ago called Leadership KFB. We have one-off kind of programs where you can spend 1 or 2 days becoming better equipped to do communications and spokesperson type activities, or even, we've started including leadership development components in most of our committees inside the organization. So you can serve on a committee focused on environmental issues or commodity specific issues, the beef committee or the sheep and goat committee or whatever it is, and you can along the way pick up leadership development tools and opportunities there. So it's a great way to just build that value into the things that other folks that our members are already doing and already engaging in.
One thing with agriculture, almost every issue affects agriculture in some way, whether it's transportation or environmental or labor or immigration. But because of that, there's all these different areas of interest people can work within Farm Bureau.
Certainly, if you just think about the cycle of commodities as you plant or raise livestock from the very beginning stages of that production cycle all the way through what goes on the grocery store shelves, we are hit by regulations or by issues that are policy related all along that life cycle or that production cycle. So there are lots of ways people can engage environmental issues, commodity issues, transportation issues, other regulatory kinds of places that folks can engage all throughout that cycle. So it's a great way to just get involved and advocate for the industry.
We're visiting with Terry Holdren. He is the CEO of Kansas Farm Bureau. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Folks, stay with us. Kyle will be back with Ryan Flickner, Senior Director of Public Policy for Kansas Farm Bureau.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. A high-energy, drought-tolerant crop, sorghum only requires 6 inches of water to produce the first bushel. And with its wide uses and easy adaptation, sorghum proves to be a truly indispensable crop. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com. Ag AM in Kansas brought to you in part by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
We're back. Let's join Kyle and Ryan Flickner and learn the many ways Kansas Farm Bureau represents grassroots members.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Ryan Flickner with Kansas Farm Bureau. Ryan, you're involved with public policy. Farm Bureau is highly involved with public policy, but tell us some of the details of how Farm Bureau, the investment that Farm Bureau has made in public policy.
Thanks, Kyle. That's a great question. You know, if you look back even to the early 1900s, there were a group of farmers and ranchers that believed a unified voice was stronger and was more able to interact with their elected officials than those same individuals operating kind of individually. So that is really how Farm Bureau started, and ever since then we've really been based, and our cornerstone is on the advocacy and the policy side. That's not discrediting anything else that we do, but we do have a great team. American Farm Bureau has a team of probably 20 plus that work on our behalf back in Washington, D.C. every day. I interact at least weekly with our federal officials in Washington, D.C., and then we have a great team of probably about 10 or 12 folks here in Kansas, some of them based here in Manhattan, others in Topeka, that work for our farm and ranch families every single day in the State House and in the Capitol in Topeka, and fighting every issue from taxes to the future of water to transportation issues, always environmental issues, and everything in between. So it's very important, and we certainly spend a lot of time and a significant investment making sure we're representing our grassroots members.
Well, and you talk about the members and the membership, but a lot of your personnel really are not only helping train members, but also scheduling them into Topeka to talk to their legislators.
Yes, we have our annual day at the State House, and here in 2016 we have over 200 of our members that have registered to attend that, and we're going to start in the morning with a breakfast, and then we'll have some breakout sessions dealing with Kansas Department of Agriculture, the future of taxes and some of the issues there, the future of education, and then being an election year, we view it as a good service to our members to get an election party update. So we'll have the executive director of the Democrat Party in Kansas and the executive director of the Republican Party in Kansas to kind of, have a duel, if you will, to really figure out what the 2016 elections mean for Kansas and the nation.
Truly, one of the things that your staff does, though, is arm the members with knowledge and specific details so when they talk to legislators, they can be well informed.
Absolutely. We have a bill track that we post on our website every single week, and I haven't been able to do the math, or haven't chose to do the math, but I would imagine at this time there's well over 100 bills that we're following here in the 2016 session that one way or another impact our current policy. And we owe it to our members to post that and be transparent, let them know if we're monitoring the bill and if we're supportive or if we're in opposition, and really allow those grassroots members to better engage when their elected official comes back for a coffee on the weekend, or if they're able to travel to Topeka, whether it's stay at the State House or some follow-up down the road here in late February or March or April, to really help them understand how that specific bill, whatever it deals with, whether it's transportation or education or agriculture, how that impacts their bottom line and their family back in Kansas and rural communities all over the state of Kansas.
We're visiting with Ryan Flickner. Ryan is with Kansas Farm Bureau. This is Kyle Bauer reporting from Manhattan. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Next up is this week's Kansas Soybean update. Don't go away.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Dwight Meyer, who is the soybean producer from Hiawatha, is joining us. He also serves as second vice president of the Kansas Soybean Association. And Dwight, when we come to Commodity Classic, one of the more important things that takes place is the delegate session and looking at some of the resolutions from individual states. And I know it's been a high priority for Kansas soybeans to be a part of that.
We have been instrumental in developing several resolutions for our delegate session this year. We worked in the area of taxation and farm continuation, some resolutions. Another area that seems to be a topic that is concerned to farmers is some of the problems that have came up with some of the payments from the past farm bill. We have worked on a resolution which trying to say that we would like to see RMA yield information used instead of NASS data, because it appears that in certain situations they're not coming up with enough accurate data from doing NASS surveys. Other areas that we have seen that there has been a bunch of interest is in the areas of regulation. The waters of the U.S., they're still concerned about that regulation. We are looking at trying to have that still be eliminated or somehow not be enforced at this point. I know it's going to go through the court system. There are other areas of regulation, such as doing away with certain fungicides, chemicals, not being able to get registration of some chemicals we would like to see. Other things that we are looking at is there are some concerns of some states would like to see, looking toward the next farm bill, having updates of crop acreage basis. Another area is in the areas of crop insurance that we're concerned about. We don't want to see more cuts to the crop insurance program. There are certain states that would like to see that we have maybe more buy-up options or some different crop insurance products.
A lot of things that were talked about there, it's important to generate those from the local level. And of course, that's the work of what the association is able to do on that, too.
Kansas, as well as numerous other states, draft new resolutions, and then they are brought toward the delegate body and discussed. Then we come up with the final proposals for resolutions that will be our policies for the coming year.
That is Dwight Meyer, who is a soybean producer from Hiawatha and serves as second vice president of the Kansas Soybean Association. He joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. After the break, we'll join Kyle and Rich Feltz.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Support Kansas agriculture education with an AgriTag. AgriTags are available anytime at your county treasurer. They look great on cars and trucks. For more information, go online to ksagclassroom.org.
This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag, farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield.
Thanks for staying with us as Kyle and Rich Feltz discuss the many ways the staff works hard for Kansas Farm Bureau members.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Kansas Farm Bureau today. I'm visiting with Rich Feltz. He's the president of Kansas Farm Bureau. Rich, as we look an overview of Kansas Farm Bureau, not everyone realizes just how you put that staff to work by the vote of farmers.
Well, that's true. And the reason we have an organization is we need to have somebody to speak up for us, somebody that can address all of our issues in a professional manner, but also somebody that has the time and expertise to do it when we're doing what we do best.
Truly, that staff is gathering information, but they're passing that out to members for members to use it.
Well, that's true. We can have staff do a lot of things, but when it really comes down to it, we need to know that our membership's involved and have them been in our back pocket to address issues, not just have staff representing them at that point.
Well, and keep track of what's going on in Washington or Topeka, so at opportune times, then the membership who are busy farming and ranching then can be there when the time is really important.
Well, that's true, Kyle, and so many issues that are very notable. Our work on waters of the U.S., for example, I think any Farm Bureau understood that. But also, we have so many minor issues that aren't really minor that as an individual producers, we kind of take for granted and don't respond. But yet as an organization, we're able to address those issues with the staff we have.
A lot of times a farmer will say, just give me higher prices and I can deal with anything else. Farm Bureau really can't set the price.
No, that's exactly right. We all think we can manipulate price a little bit, but we have no control over that. But we need to think about issues that we can have an impact with when it comes to policy and regulations.
It's really frustrating a lot of times as an individual farmer with so many different issues that come up, and really almost every issue appears to affect agriculture.
Well, there's no question about that. As I addressed our group here at one time, how the impact of waters of the U.S. on each and every one of us, we don't really know, but the implications are not very good. We've had the issue of how the lesser prairie chicken regulations in southwestern Kansas, the impact that they can have, but just even our farm bill and some of the implications it has for us.
You know, Farm Bureau is a statewide organization. You're from more or less southeast Kansas, but you have different issues with different parts of the state. Farm Bureau is equipped, though, to deal with those different issues in different parts of the state.
Well, that's true, Kyle. And as you said, I think one of those issues right now is water, both as we talk about waters of the U.S., but also the issues we have in the western part of the state with the demise of the Ocala, and then also the water issues we have in the central and the eastern part of the states that are a real concern as well.
We're visiting with Rich Feltz. He's the president of Kansas Farm Bureau. This is Kyle Bauer reporting from Manhattan. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, come back after the break for the weekly Kansas Farm Bureau legislative update.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Next up is the Kansas Farm Bureau legislative update.
Well, I believe that folks should be involved in whether it's a Kansas Farm Bureau or any kind of other farm organization, because people in our legislators in D.C. or Kansas, wherever it might be, they absolutely need to hear from us. We have great people that represent all these different organizations, but it's the farmers that have the stories about how different legislation is going to affect them on their farm. And our legislators absolutely need to hear that from us. And I know we get caught up in our everyday, life of a lot of chores. There's a lot of work to do, but it is absolutely imperative that we belong to these organizations that give us the opportunities to be able to go and tell our story to those who absolutely need to hear them the most.
Hope you enjoyed the Kansas Farm Bureau Legislative Update. Come back after the break as we wrap up with Dr. John Anderson.
I'm a patient of Kansas Regenerative Medicine in Manhattan. I had stem cell therapy in my hips and my left knee. My wife and I both are patients. We went down there the same day in November. Since then, my hips are feeling a lot better. I can work now most of the day if I want to. And before, if I worked in the morning, I was done in the afternoon, or if I worked in the afternoon, I was sure enough done for the rest of the day.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Thanks for staying with us. Now let's join Kyle and Dr. Anderson, Deputy Chief Economist for the American Farm Bureau Federation, as they discuss the national farm economy.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer from Kansas City. I have the opportunity to visit with Dr. John Anderson. He is with American Farm Bureau Federation, and he's an economist with them. And I thought we would do a bit exploring about the farm economy around the nation, because he has the opportunity to see all the way from California to New York to Florida. Right now, we're starting into a time that a lot of the country is worried about a economic, I don't want to call it a crisis, an economic downturn in agriculture. What do you see?
Well, I think that's fair. I think we are looking at an economic downturn. We've had we've come through a multi-year period where we had high commodity prices. For a lot of our commodities, we were looking at record high commodity prices. Now we've come down from that, and we're on the other side of that cycle. High prices generated high returns. High returns attracted a lot of investment into the sector, not just in the United States, but around the country. And that increased production, and now that higher production is on the market, and that's putting pressure on prices. We've got a few demand side issues, I think. The strong dollar has made the export business pretty tough. But overall, I think most of what we're dealing with for most of our commodities is just the increase in global supplies, the increase in production that is reached a point where it's put pressure on prices.
What part of the nation are you seeing the most stress right now?
I'd say immediately the cattle sector has come under as much stress, I think, as any other sector out there. And that's a little bit ironic because we started out the year really strong in the cattle sector. But from about midsummer on, we've had as dramatic a wreck in as short a time in that sector as I think we ever see. We are looking for a bottom, and I think maybe getting close to it, but the level of stress built pretty quickly in that sector. Apart from that, I would say the other areas that are probably going to have maybe a little tougher time, parts of the Eastern Corn Belt this year really had a tough production year. A lot of wet weather in June and July made production tough. There were some farmers that are going to end up with a short crop. At the same time, market prices are going down, and that's really the worst possible situation to be in annual crop production. We will have some Eastern Corn Belt farmers who are in that boat.
The one thing with the cattle industry, we kind of spread the risk, spread the downturn across the entire nation for the most part.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it really has, and I think it probably has been a little tougher and maybe originated in the Corn Belt. We got some really big front-end supplies out of a lot of the farmer feeders up there, and that kind of got the system backed up, but it really has spread to everybody, and it's been a widespread downturn.
We've been visiting with Dr. John Anderson. He's with American Farm Bureau Federation. This is Kyle Bauer reporting from Kansas City.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor. We're here every Tuesday on Ag AM in Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agamинkansas.com.